Are you overwhelmed by the challenge of personalizing communication for thousands of students? That's where Element 451's AI assistants come in. From nudging prospective students to guiding those already on their journey, AI assistants don't just automate, they write, build, and optimize every step of your digital campaigns. Discover how at element451.com/AI team.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to a special edition of Higher Ed Pulse. I'm your host, Mallory Wilsey, and this is Enrollify's 2024 Hall of Fame, a celebration of the year's most impactful thought leaders. We've curated key moments from our Hall of Famers' appearances across the Enrollify network, highlighting the ideas and insights that are shaping the future of our industry. From groundbreaking takes on AI to bold strategies for student engagement, these voices set the tone for innovation in 2024. Let's jump right into today's episode. Today, we welcome Claire Brady to the Enrollify 2024 Hall of Fame. Claire is president of Glass Half Full Consulting and has more than 2 decades of experience working on higher ed campuses. She's an innovative leader tackling one of higher ed's most pressing topics, the rise of artificial intelligence. Claire has a clear-eyed view of the challenges and opportunities AI presents, and her insights help institutions embrace this transformative technology. This year, Claire joined Jamie Hunt on Confessions of a Higher Ed CMO and Brian Piper on AI for You. In the following clips, Claire and our hosts explore why higher ed has been slower to adopt AI compared to other industries, from concerns about cheating to a lack of AI literacy. Claire shares practical steps for institutions to get started, focusing on understanding the tools and their potential. You'll also hear how Nashville State Community College is leveraging AI for groundbreaking innovations and why embracing AI today is as essential as adopting the internet years ago. And finally, Claire reminds us of AI's ability to free educators and administrators from mundane tasks, unlocking those never-ending possibilities to improve teaching, learning, and student success. Now, let's hear from Claire.
I think it's more a matter of timing than anything. I think our bandwidth has been stretched very thin in the last, let's say, 2 to 4 years for all the reasons we know, pandemic, a lot of the social unrest, a lot of the political unrest. And so I think that our leaders have had so many things thrown at them that this feels like a massive shift. It feels something that's too big, too messy, too hard. We also got very stuck in the cheating conversation, which I think is a necessary conversation to have. Our faculty are dealing with this every day. Our librarians are dealing with this every day, and we're getting through it. But if healthcare, which has significant privacy and cybersecurity issues that has to deal with so many things around patient confidentiality, if they've been able to figure out ways around it and through it, I think that we absolutely can as well. I also just think the nature of our institutions, the nature of how slow systemic change can happen sometimes slows us down. We also love a use case, and there haven't been a lot of those out there, especially ones that aren't tied to a large vendor or an expensive vendor product. And I think it begets other questions, right? Like a lot of times institutions say to me, like, what can we start doing? Well, it's not that sexy, but you can start by cleaning up your data. You can start by putting all your data in one place. You don't even have to clean it up. Just put it in one place, right? You can start by writing a policy and testing it. And if it doesn't work, iterating it and doing something else. You can work by improving your Wikipedia page because that's where ChatGPT is pulling all their information about your institution, things like that. It's not even hard. It's just you need to put intention behind it. And part of that is understanding how these tools work. And so a lot of my time on campus is I'm not a super techie person, but I spend a lot of time saying, where does ChatGPT pull their information? Have you looked at their tiny language in their contract that you signed, right? Have you looked at, do you know where any of this information is coming from and that you actually have the power to impact it? And so that AI literacy piece cannot be underestimated. And I mean AI literacy, not just in kind of this idea of how to use the tool, but where does the tool come from? How is it updated? How is it created? And student affairs folks need to be at the table when those discussions are happening for the institution. And we need to be asking our vendor partners all types of questions. And I work with vendors all the time. I don't make my money from vendors. I work exclusively with institutions, but I ask vendors tough questions. And they seem surprised because I'm not sure that folks are asking a lot of the same questions. I always go back to calculators and math classes.
Yes.
We couldn't imagine now not having them, right? Math faculty probably couldn't imagine now not having them. How did we embrace or not embrace the internet and social media? So many things. We already have past successes that we can look back on and say, how did we build digital literacy? We used our librarians. Librarians are the key here, folks. You know, I just, we embedded them in classes, and we wrote student learning outcomes related to them, and we trained our faculty and we trained our staff. It's not a revolution, it's an evolution. I'm working with Nashville State, which is a community college in Tennessee, and they have a grant available to them through the state of Tennessee for innovative practices. And so they applied for the grant to do all types of AI training over the course of all of next academic year. So I'm going to spend a lot of time in Nashville with them and different constituent groups, from their board to students to faculty to staff, doing all kinds of AI training with them. And they got the money, they got the resources from their state as a pilot project. But I imagine that other institutions within the state of Tennessee will also benefit from that knowledge and from the work that we're going to do next year. I think the biggest thing for me is I just see the immense possibilities that it's going to bring to our field, right? I know how much time is spent every day on manual, repetitive tasks that take away from what got us into the field in the first place, which is working directly with students. I used to tease, I dreamed one day when I was a little girl that I would spend half my day sending emails and the other half of my day editing documents,
Right.
It just wasn't my dream. And it's not for so many of our staff, right? I mean, when if you ever spend a day shadowing, say, an academic advisor, the amount of systems they have to log into, the fact that the systems aren't talking to each other, they're not integrated, to learn what they need to know about a student, they may have to log into 5 different systems. And then they have the student in front of them for 30 minutes and they spend half their time turned away from the student looking at a screen. It's just not how we do our best work, right? So I see that community colleges, regional colleges, liberal arts universities that are low on resources and seeking new ways to impact student outcomes, improve the student experience, meet their workforce demands. This could be a game changer and will be a game changer. So as I'm seeing healthcare really embracing AI, right? I feel like that's an analog for us to look to. Think about going to see your doctor, right? Maybe English isn't your first language. And you see your doctor and you're able to communicate and ask questions without bringing a member of your family whose English might be better than yours. And you leave that doctor's office with your next steps, what you need to do for care once you get home in your language at your reading level. That's massive, right?
Yeah.
For health outcomes. But where are those applications in higher ed? They're everywhere, right? That student who leaves that advising appointment, that student who goes into financial aid and may be on satisfactory academic progress warning or something, to leave there with something written at their reading level in their native language could be massive, right? So it's those little kind of examples that could have huge impact. And given the decline in funding, the loss of trust in higher ed, the looming enrollment decline, and the many challenges to our equity mission, right? I'm surprised that we're not more proactive as a field.
Yes.
This could really improve our work.
Yes.
It could make our processes faster, better, more equitable. That's all essential to us, right? So these improvements, from my perspective, are crucial for addressing issues of access, equity, student success, and workforce needs. If those aren't mission critical, I don't know what is.
Claire, congratulations on being inducted into the Enrollify 2024 Hall of Fame. Your thought leadership and forward-thinking insights on AI have inspired folks in higher education to rethink what is possible. The Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify Podcast Network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our show helps higher ed marketers and admission pros find their next big idea and features a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Brian Gross, Eddie Francis, Jenny Lee Fowler, and so many of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.